right, man. God damn, it's a big Marvel movie, man. I'm so happy we got a big one. The Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3, man.
Mm-hmm.
And so, I forgot about it again. I mean, I knew it was coming out, but I literally forgot about it until like maybe about 2 months ago. They was like, we're coming to theaters.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, good. Because I've enjoyed, both renditions. And unlike you, I love the Christmas special. It was so I can watch it now and laugh. I thought it was so good. So, man, where are we at here? So let's get busy with this thing here. So, Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3, 2023, PG-13, 2 hours and 30 minutes. Action, adventure, comedy. Still reeling from the loss of Gamora, Peter Quill rallies the team to defend the universe and one of their own. A mission that can mean the end of the Guardians if not successful. It's a shitty.
Well, it's accurate.
Directed by James Gunn. Tim, who the hell is in this movie?
All right, Chris Pratt.
Sir
Christopher Pratt. Zoe Saldana.
The lovely.
I still looking good even with that greasy hair.
Look good.
Dave Bautista.
Big Dave.
Karen Gillan, who I adore.
Yeah,
I adore her.
We do.
Pom Clementif. That's Mantis.
Oh, I love her dirty bath.
I think she's great.
Oh my God.
Vin Diesel.
With I am Groot. I'm Groot. I love you guys.
Yeah, there he is. Bradley Cooper.
Yep, who plays my favorite Marvel character of all time.
Yes. Will Poulter.
Will Poulter? I thought his name was Putman.
No, Poulter.
Is it Poulter?
That's what it says.
Shit. For years, I've been calling him Will Putman. Okay. Shit.
That doesn't surprise me. There's a reason why I took over doing the names a while ago.
You know what? I kicked my ass. Move on.
Sean Gunn, obviously.
Yeah.
And then a bunch of other people.
You
want me to say Nathan Fillion?
We did not, but
Sylvester Stallone?
We did not. Don't forget Chuck Uday.
Oh, Iwuji?
Oh my God, that dude.
Yeah.
Now, he from the other show that I love so much, Peacemaker. He was in Peacemaker. So
he was?
Oh, he had a huge role in Peacemaker, man.
Okay.
Oh my God. So I fell in love with him in Peacemaker. But I remember the first time I ever seen him was in John Wick 2. Yeah.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah, he was a guy in line, it's like, I'm a squirrel. Can I get in there? And she was like, no, get the hell out of here. When she died, he was at the next with the brother, Santino. Can I get a nut? Can I get a nut? Can I get a nut? Anyway, so let's get it rolling, man.
Mm-hmm.
So before we go any further, it's time. For word. Gotta remember that there's a visual audience.
There is people looking. I do. That's something I have yet to get used to. That's why I was trying to move around a little bit more in this episode.
Yeah.
My one word.
One word.
Oh, flat.
Oh, holy. Oh, Tiff just made a whole bunch of enemies.
I'm okay with it. I am okay with it.
That's for sure.
Yeah.
Wow. Explain.
So, for one thing, God, Chris
Damn it. Go ahead.
Is he getting worse?
What are you talking about?
He is terrible in this movie. I mean, okay. I guess I'm not going to say terrible, but the acting has definitely, he's very much phoning it in. Wow. That being said, so some of the other problems that I have with this movie is that, like, it is clearly just very much feels like someone who wrote their homework assignment, like who's just a smart kid who's used to getting by, just writes their homework assignments. It's A+ quote unquote material, but there's no heart in it, sort of.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
I would say.
Okay.
So what's your one word?
My one word was heart. Is heart.
Oh my God.
Oh, okay, Tifflebot. We'll see what the reviews of this podcast.
Well, that's okay. It's okay. Look, we're going to talk about why we feel the way we feel.
So much heart in this movie.
I feel like this movie is intentionally manipulative because it realizes the main storyline doesn't have what it takes.
Look, so much heart. So just grab my attention. Mm-hmm. Just heart. God damn. You know what? Marvel was kind of like, I've been really critical of Marvel, man. And in the second phase, but this, holy shit. I got my violence. I got my heart. I got my good story. Oh my God. We couldn't be more opposite. I'm like,
I know,
man, in the stratosphere with this one, like, look, so much heart. So, saying all that, let's hit them spoilers and let's move on here. Action, adventure, comedy.
All right.
So here we are, man. So Guardians of the Galaxy, the last time we saw them was a Christmas special, and it kind of gave us a nice spot of where our heroes are, as far as like, it prevented the writers from having to, do a whole bunch of backstory and writing because of the Christmas special, which I thought was really, really cool. We established that Mantis and Star-Lord consider each other sister and brother now. We established that we have the doggy,
that fucking dog.
Oh my God. We have the adorable doggy that's on the screen, and they're living in nowhere, and they're in charge. They're like,
it's like their headquarters.
Yes. More than that, because a headquarters would just be them, but they're literally pillars of the community taking care of this community. And so that happened in the Christmas special. And then, so we just tune right in. The movie starts with this Rocket listening to the song Creep. And it was just so interesting to me because I'm like, that song is like the worst, right? I love that song, right? But it's like the song really will not let you feel good about yourself,
Right.
And Rocket's listening to this, and it's like a perfect, thing of where this character is. And he's listening to Peter Zoom. He walks through the place, kind of showing the place for people who may not have seen the Christmas special. And, then Peter Quill is in there drunk as a skunk, still clowning over Gamora, and he like goes after Rocket and it doesn't work out for him. So I'm like, yes, Tiff's like, bullshit. Where you at, Tiff?
No, at the beginning of this movie, I come in and I'm going to be okay with it. I am a little cringe about them playing Creep because it is, unless you are going to use that song in a way that is so spectacularly different than it's been used before, it is very much just an easy get. So like to watch them do that, I'm like, oh, like I kind of felt like, come on. Like I love that song, but like when you have something like that's iconic, that's been used in a lot of movies and a lot of other kind of media, you're going to have to bring it in a way that I'm not like, here's the same thing.
And I thought they brought it with the way that Rocket was listening to it. And he wasn't like, no, I'm a creep. He was just
he was just singing it to himself, which I also found to be a little awkward, but that's fine.
Fuck, I loved it. So, they check in with all the Guardians. You have I don't want to call him Sean Gunn's brother. What was his name?
That is Sean Gunn, right?
Yeah, that's
who wrote it.
James Gunn's brother.
Gunn. Yeah.
So he can't
he can't whistle. He can't, or he can whistle, but he can't control the arrow.
Yeah. So everybody's kind of having problems, and like everybody's at each other's throat, which is pretty cool. One of the standout characters in this thing is Gillian. Like she's like, goddamn, Nebula is like just awesome in this thing. She's so angry in the beginning, and everybody's kind of angry at themselves. So what's his name? It's not Putnam. I thought it was Putnam.
Oh, I'm so sorry. My thing shut because I didn't expect I was going to get a quiz.
Adam Warlock is like
Adam Warlock.
And that comes from the second movie.
He's coming, and he's also created.
He's created, but at the end of the movie, there was a extra scene which you probably didn't watch that they kind of like hatched him out. It was like,
I was gone immediately.
They're like, we're gonna send him. So literally, they sent him because Rocket stole the batteries in the beginning of the second movie, and he comes in and he puts walloping on Rocket, man. He shoots him in the chest, and so everybody can just know. So in the comic books, Adam Warlock is Thanos' like brother. You know,
Oh, okay.
yeah, I mean, super powerful. I mean, in the Secret Wars, he was like one of the most powerfulest characters there. So him getting a shot in the chest by Adam Warlock probably should have disintegrated him. You know what I'm saying? But he's like wrestling with everybody, and there's a a fight scene that happens, with this, that, and the other, and it ends up with Rocket like dying, and nothing is working. And I'm digging this, and I'm feeling good about this, and I love the setup. But on the opposite end of the spectrum, there's my co-host, and you're thinking what?
So I mean, it's hard for me to go beat by beat in this movie. I mean,
we won't go the whole time, but I'm just.
I know. We're establishing it. Yeah. I mean, as far as like my complaints with it, because when I'm watching this part of the movie, it's not an abysmal situation.
Okay.
I'm just seeing that it's very much kind of like a paint by number situation. So you're like, I'm seeing this happen. I'm seeing this happen. I'm not surprised by any of it, and it's not exactly. I will say that part of it is its unevenness, because I really do feel like the Drax character and the Mantis character do bring a lot. They are doing a lot of heavy lifting in this movie.
Did you watch this the Christmas special?
Yes.
They were effing great in the Christmas special.
And I think that has to do with just those actors being particularly devoted, maybe to these characters particularly, but also to the craft. I think Dave Bautista keeps getting better and better. Just generally speaking, as an actor, and I haven't seen Mantis and anything else that I know of, but she's great, and I think that she's particularly good as this character, and maybe that's why I'm potentially being boxed in there. I actually find Karen Gillan does a great job, but I also find her a little bit subdued in this, and I think that's because of having to play off of. I think Chris Pratt is just not doing a good job.
Well, okay, so
I know he's depressed. I'm not saying that, but he's doing a bad job, in my opinion. I feel like there's just nothing there.
I don't really think they focused on him like that.
They don't, but the characters revolve around him, as you said, kind of like the heart. And then we kind of realize in this that Rocket is the heart. Now, here's the thing about the whole Rocket. So after he gets injured, they realize they're going to have to go to OrcaCorp.
Yep.
Which, by the way,
I loved it.
James Gunn does have a knack for making things disgusting.
I loved it. I loved
it. Like a butthole. And like with like intestines going around it, because it's made from organic matter.
Nathan Fillion, his character and his crew,
those suits look. I mean, like there's a certain point where things just look. So it's a goofy movie.
Yeah.
The Guardians of the Galaxy are a goofy group of people, but what they're dealing with is really serious. And I think that they didn't straddle that line so well, because those suits, especially, are so off-putting to me. And I'm not saying that is what makes or breaks a movie, but it's one of the little things where if I was really involved in a movie, I wouldn't even notice or care. But those suits look stupid. I don't care if they're comic book.
I thought correct. The suits looked stupid, and that was the point, and it was hilarious.
I understand that there might be a certain reason for doing these things, but if I can't automatically access that as a viewer, then my experience is going to be less. If it was a joke, which obviously it is, it went on for too long. It was just too much.
Well, once you hit them, it would have been stupid to take them out of the suits. I still had to go the whole scenes with these suits on, man.
I'm just saying that choice was a lot, and then that's just the minute thing. But like, I will. So in this part, we're getting some really good comedy.
Yes.
Not just from Mantis, and I do think that I do think that Fillion is doing some good comedy with his I've got this idiot too. Which was kind of great. This actually find this scene to be
I love
not bad.
The whole heist scene at this place was great. Rocket's dying the whole time, and they're trying to do their thing and get the information, and they find out that this one doctor might have it. Things don't work out. Everything goes bad, and it leads to some sweet ass action. The action sequences, I wasn't disappointed with not one of them. You know, every action sequence that happened, I was like, oh yes. I mean, stuff I've never seen before. They did things differently, and it was so satisfying. And we talked about Marvel's like decline in like violence. This movie brought it. I mean, it was space violence, but it was still
space
violence.
It
was still like, great, man, right. You know, cut his head off. You know,
I will say that there are. I mean, obviously there are parts of this movie that I liked, and I would say the action's good. You know what I mean? One thing that this movie really does suffer from is that like the kind of plot that we're dealing with, which is kind of like makes you want to think it's complex, and it's not. So that's fine. It's a Marvel movie. It's not. That's okay. But the problem is that it is so bloated. Like at 2 hours and 30 minutes is too fucking long for this movie.
I disagree with all this.
You disagree because you enjoy watching whatever stupid, and I'm not saying
no.
Like you enjoy their hijinks and stuff like that.
It wasn't just hijinks. It was like they zipped into like a on again, off again, like history of Rocket.
Yes,
and which that shit was like, you know, did I care? Did I want it? No, but when it was there, I was like, oh, well, this is cool as shit. You know, I mean, just how innocent Rocket was as a little, you know, kid, you know, and what was happening to him and his friends, and you know how evil the higher intelligence, what's his name, the high evolutionary was.
The high evolutionary.
You know, I remember when he was talking, Rocket was ridiculously smart, but he would say something like, "That's ain't real," and you know, the actor playing, you know, to the CGI, his subtle looks, like he was like so irritated, but still trying to be nice to the raccoon when he couldn't even speak, like, you know, properly. You know, he was like, and I was like, shit, you know, I'm into this, man. You know, like I
think he is doing a good job.
He sold it, you know, and the Bradley Cooper and the CGI, all the people involved in that. You know, I was so interested in this second story that was happening underneath the whole thing, that what made Rocket. You know, it was like sometimes you go into an origin story and you're like, oh boy, you just ruined this, you know. But not with this. I was like, yes, more of this shit, man, you know.
I can see where you're coming from. But my problem with this backstory is it's so expanded. And it feels a lot like, because they know that, so like in the other side of things, you would say that the emotional resonance I want to talk about this. The emotional resonance of Peter trying to save Rocket is enough. Like, examining that is enough. But whatever is happening in the storytelling situation, whatever is happening with Chris Pratt is not getting it there. And I'm not saying that I'm sure that this story was conceived at the same time, but the emotional manipulation, all movies are playing at our emotions. They're showing us parts of our humanity, and there's nothing wrong with that.
It was great.
But the way that they go so hard with some of that stuff, it is like they know that the other half is uneven. And here's the thing. I cried seeing them tiny little raccoons because they are so cute, and it made me think of real raccoons. Yeah. And so, yes, indeed, I cried. But I was just like, we're seeing that part later where the otter is like, he wants to go with them into heaven or whatever that is. And they're like, it's not your time, which is one of the oldest things that happen in movies, is, you know, seeing the other side and the person you love there telling you got to go back.
Great shit. Great shit.
Arguably, no, because like this movie is a ridiculous movie, and you come to the ridiculousness.
Good. It was still good. It was,
and it's not good. I think that some people would like it, but for me, like, it just wasn't tight enough. They manipulate you so that you feel bad, but then at the end, when things are all tied up neatly, it's like nothing changes. There's no, like we discussed, no stakes.
A lot of stuff changes. You know, so
a lot of stuff theoretically changes.
Here's what I thought they really did well.
Okay.
You know, I didn't feel like a single character in this thing was safe. You know, Drax almost died. You know, Rocket almost died. Peter almost died. Then you brought in Gamora, who was like so different from her, you know, her previous Gamora. And I was interested in that story because did I want to see them get back together? No. But even the story that Nebula told Peter, no, not Nebula, but his Mantis told Peter about him jumping from lily pad to lily pad. Didn't even make sense to me until the end, and I was like, yeah, that makes sense. You know? And so I was invested in all of those stories. I was invested in all of this. You know, and I've been really critical of the last few Marvel movies, but I did like Ant-Man and what it had to bring. Didn't like the T'Challa, well, not even T'Challa, the Black Panther, too. And so there's been some things, even Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness was like, it was okay.
Problems, yeah.
But this here, I was like, this is the Marvel I know and love, man. This is what I want to see. And I was so invested in these characters. They went to the fake Earth, and, that place ended up blowing the hell up.
Everybody. Yeah, which is great because we're establishing that the high, what's his name? Sorry, it's hard. I almost want to say high creator.
Yeah.
But high evolutionary doesn't give a shit about anything that he creates. He wants to make the perfect species, but he just if he doesn't get there, he's not upset about like destroying what he has created.
The scenes that he had when he was like it was like he was drunk, but it was like something had happened to him. And, he was like explaining the Rocket, the baby Rocket, that, you're not coming, why would you think you would ever come? He was just being a dick to everybody. And, to me, it opened up the story and the narrative even more that, we knew this guy was a piece of shit. We knew he was a bad guy. We know that from the comics. We know by the way he's acting, but he was like irredeemable, which is not like always the case with a lot of villains. It's like even with Darth Vader, you're like, you kind of
but that's the thing is that like, but that's no fault. That's no fault of the actor. He's doing a great job. That's just the character.
He was like unredeemable. That he was like it was not like he was like
he was almost like a machine.
Yeah, he was like the ultimate piece of shit. But especially when Baby Rocket tore his face up and escaped out of there after his friends got killed, and then at the end, they pull his face off, and it's like, so he's like mad that this creature did this to him,
right?
After he mistreated the creature, but he don't understand it. He mistreated the creature, But I think I thought it was a lot of complexities and a lot of things that I just thought was like really good, man. Really, really good.
I want to talk about the dog in a terrible way.
I love the dog. I love the dog.
I don't necessarily hate the dog so much, but the relationship that dog had with Sean Gunn was very strange.
Yeah, I thought it was great.
Nope.
She was a dog, and she's like, stop saying I'm a bad dog. That's bullshit.
Right, which is a fine joke, but like I this is me just making a joke, but like there was parts of that movie where I was like, is he like
no, Tim.
Like it was just weird. It felt weird.
He could do what he couldn't do, and he was like so down on himself because he just couldn't do it. And even when he thought it mattered, when Adam Warlock came in there, it did nothing but was like, bing, and dude was like, what the hell? And so
you knew he was going to get his little whistling time.
Well, when he did, it was so satisfying, man. Because
it was satisfying.
Into like the whip, right? He was just, and I was just like, yes.
And of course, there's our buddy.
Who's that?
Mr. Marvel, Mr. No, there's nothing like Marvel money.
There's nothing like Marvel money, son. Michael Rooker.
Saw him.
And I'm so he was there. He was like, at least, even for a flashback in this movie, I love the Yondu character, and I know fans of this series love the Yondu character.
Yeah,
and they just that with that little shitty smile. He got gold teeth that's chipped. He's got gold.
Yeah, they're like they're
Yeah, man. And so
I will say that, like,
I was so happy with this project.
Yeah, so I don't mean to be like aggressive about like how I'm speaking about it, but like part of my problem is that because I did really like the first Guardians of the Galaxy movie.
Yeah.
And it did have like, so part of what makes good movie making for me is that you don't notice necessarily, like you do notice, but like things are happening to you that you might not even realize until later. Everything that is happening in this film is happening right then. That doesn't necessarily make for an unenjoyable film, but I don't think it necessarily makes for even the best Marvel film that I've seen. And I think that because I'm holding that up to the comparison of, like, for instance, the Michael Rooker character, who in that first Guardians of the Galaxy movie, when you think the whole time that he has no heart for Star-Lord, and then we had this beautiful turn.
When I first found you, the boys wanted to eat you.
We have this beautiful turn that is both, I mean, we have all that comedy that comes before it, the complexity, but this beautiful turn that you didn't even really expect, and then you end up feeling so much heart and so much pain for these two people who love each other in a complex way. I felt that emotion
for this film, Tiff. I literally
I can understand
emotion. I did.
I can understand that, but it felt in this film a little bit more directly like they knew they had to manipulate you with the baby raccoons and all the kids and stuff, because in that main focus of the film,
baby raccoons didn't do shit for me. I mean, you like baby raccoons, but I don't give a shit, you know.
But you like that part of the movie too.
That did nothing to like pull my. No, I'm talking about when Rocket was a kid. That's what I like.
Yeah,
like those.
Yeah, well, I'm not talking about just the baby raccoons. I'm also talking about him and his friends.
Yeah.
Do you know
that
was
good shit.
Like, that's where their emotional resonance is trying to come in a little bit.
If it didn't have that, I still would have felt what I felt for the rest of the characters. Man, I've grown to love these characters over the years, and that I didn't pay as much attention to Chris Pratt as you did, because even though he was like the leader of this group, he wasn't the star. Rocket was. Rocket was the star of this movie, man.
Yes.
And it was good. It was so good. The emotional range out of a goddamn CGI character. Holy shit, man. It was just amazing to me.
But I mean, like, part of the problem with it then is that if you weren't feeling
Groot.
No shit.
Yeah, Groot was Lucas' character was Groot. I mean, I guess they figure like Groot had his moment in the first movie, and then in the second movie he was a teenager, and in this movie
it was cool when he was the shooting gun Groot, which we saw in the trailer.
God. Baka, baka, baka. I'm like, yes, he had his moment, but it's still,
and his movement with Pete, that was, I mean, those are like some very stylized, good like action scenes in the movie. But I will say that, like, in part, you do. So, okay, we get to the end of the movie. Okay. And they get all of the kids off and all of the, they defeat.
And the kids weren't annoying. They could have been annoying, but they weren't annoying.
I agree. I actually agree that they didn't make the kids annoying. They seemed, they did seem like they were in peril. And then
Bautista doing the clown daddy
calling him, hey, stupid.
They were so great.
But Dave Bautista really does. It makes you wish that it wasn't that it was Dave Bautista saving Rocket Raccoon, and that we shaved 30 minutes off and just focused there.
No,
you know what I mean? Like
but it was more than just Rocket. It was other shit. Yep. And I like the fact that it was other shit.
Yeah, but I think that liking it, right? So anyway,
I did not have to like this movie. I didn't.
I know you didn't. I know you didn't have to.
It's other movies that's been like, man, look. Phase, what were we 4 or something like with Marvel?
Oh God, I don't know that.
Right. Well, whatever the current phase is, it's been like.
You're right.
But this shit here has been the highlight for me. Like
that's great.
I loved it.
So I think that in the end of the movie is when it really starts to potentially turn itself around. I thought Star-Lord was going to die, and I was so excited. Because it would have had some depth to, some risk. P.S. That is not how space works. Even if someone comes and you're done. First of all, that's not what happens. It's more like an event horizon where all your blood vessels break open.
Where was the little click, with the face mask?
Where's his fucking, you know what I mean? Whatever. my understanding is,
I kind of was like, where's his little face?
Montego's like, perfectly fine except for this. What's this?
Where's that face bags at? Why is his ass getting all bullied?
So like clearly already died or would not be so I thought
I like the redemption of Adam Warlock though.
I do. I actually like that too.
Yeah.
But like he saves him, but why didn't he like quote unquote save him sooner? Because like there's no coming back from that. And I thought, he has the power. I thought Adam Warlock had the power to revive somebody. I was like, oh no, he doesn't because his mom died.
Yeah.
He just revived.
Well,
but I guess he's part celestial. He's part celestial.
And he was like just a big dumb idiot just floating around there. He just didn't know. And he grew up, in my opinion, really fast. And I love when Groot says what he says to him and then somebody translates like, he says everybody gets a second chance, and I was like, this shit is good. This shit is good.
No.
Yes. Yes.
So then at the end,
yes.
There's a little that everyone's like, okay, the Guardians of the Galaxy is breaking up, which is a very Marvel ending, because we're seeing like potentially the next phase.
Well, they showed like the sister, she was angry the whole time with the way people was treating her. And so she decided to go out on her own. Nebula transformed, from just being angry to like those kids, did it for her. She wants to, take care of everybody else. And I like that. Peter Quill, not all of a sudden, his sister was like trying to get him to go see about his family. You're talking about you don't have nobody. And so it's just kind of funny because the dude is like, his granddaddy is like old. It's like, how long?
He's old, but he's not as old. He was old in that photo. And then I was like, he would be dead. And then he gets there and he's like the same age.
Well, no. If you watch the first movie, he's not the same age. He's for sure.
But I mean, like that was, I mean, I can't resist, seeing an old man get excited to see his grandson.
Yeah. So then Gamora goes back to the Ravengers and she has a home there,
And that was nice to see too. I thought that Gamora had an interesting turn in this movie because of a very different portrayal from her other Gamora, but it's sort of similar.
So the first after credit scene, did you stay long enough for that?
No.
Okay, so they were a new team. You had Coughlin, the doggy, Groot, who was like big as he was just like 2 stories tall at this point. You had no Drax. No, I think you did have. You had Rocket? He was the leader, and they were like protecting someplace, and they got into action, and they were like, okay, y'all want me to do it? We can do it. Let's do it together. So they're good. The team is good, and then it goes off. But then a buddy of mine at the gym told me that there was a after credit scene, and that like I guess Pete and his grandfather was sitting there with a newspaper reading a newspaper. And like it had said that like something on the newspaper, like Kevin Bacon said he was
like a reference to the Christmas.
Like exactly. But that was all it was. It was nothing moving the story forward. Like it had been doing. And so I thought somebody told me about that at the gym today, and I was like, I wasn't staying around to the end.
Not for that.
No.
I just think that this movie ending is pretty typical I think everybody's fine and everything like that. We have a little bit of emotional turmoil because they're separating. But I will say that they do, they leave it like, I mean, and that's, as far as like the separating and forming of different Guardians of the Galaxy, that's very comic book. We know that, there's many different,
Tiffelbot. The Sylvester Stallone character and all his characters, they're the original Guardians of the Galaxy in the original comic book. All those characters, the ice dude and the little lizard thing, the orange lizard, whatever the hell they are, those are the.
There's been iterations, yeah.
Yes.
Just like there's different Avengers, there's different Justice League people. I mean, that's very common, and so like that's not a gripe of mine at all. At the end of the movie,
no, I didn't. No, I wasn't saying it was a gripe. I was just FYI.
No. But that not necessarily going to happen, but it leaves the door open for future
and I don't
movies.
Think there would be. First of all, James Gunn, DC owns him now.
Yeah, that's true.
So I think this would be it. And without James Gunn, he's such a goddamn brilliant filmmaker. And I'm, when I was watching this, and I was like halfway through it and was enjoying it so much. I was like, goddamn James Gunn. I was like, this is why I'm enjoying it. He is a goddamn genius. He knows how to make me laugh, pull on my heartstrings, make it interesting,
make things look like a butthole.
Well, I guess
he's always doing something gross. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. That scene in the Suicide Squad 2, I can't even look at it.
My daughter, she got problem with hoes too and shit. So but I just think he's a brilliant dude, man, and he just makes the shit that I like. And I didn't even like this shit until I started seeing his stuff. Like a movie like the original Guardians of the Galaxy.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't give a shit about anything like that. You know, like action with a little comedy and all of a sudden I wanted my superheroes to be serious, can whoop that ass. And then like this guy makes it fun, you know, and
that's nice.
Everything that he has done since then, especially Peacemaker, holy shit, you know, and it's just like so brilliantly funny, but still satisfyingly violent and satisfyingly, you know, just action, you know, it's good.
Yeah, and I know, like, you know, coming in with like accurate portrayals of the things that you think would happen within that superhero, like you said with Peacemaker, like not shying away from the reality of the violence that would happen if such a thing were to occur.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? It's kind of like when they show, like, you know, in like action movies when they're like buildings are falling down and stuff, and they act like not a single person was hurt.
Everybody's like cool. It's like, I got out of there.
So,
all right, man. So we agreed to disagree on this one, y'all. But what we're gonna do is that's it. We come to the damn thing, and that's all.
And that's it. That's all she wrote.
That's it. So I'm the host of Fans of Patrol. My name is Montego. With me is my disagreeable co-host, Miss Tiffleby.
It's been a pleasure as always.
Indeed. And until next week, man, we will be on Patrol.